and welcome to episode 20 of It's All Geek to Me, the pop culture chat show where three friends with varying degrees of nerd knowledge get together once a week to have a chat about all things geek. My name's Rich Gittins, and joining me this week and every week is Mr. Coca-Cola, Chris Lumb.
Hello.
Hey up, Lummy, how you doing? See, that introduction means nothing because your jumper's completely cut out of the shot. There we are, sponsored by Coca-Cola.
How you doing, love? I was looking for my right flower. I was looking for a geek t-shirt and I couldn't find one, so I went with Coca-Cola.
That's all right. Should we see what geek t-shirt Webby's wearing?
Yeah.
Come on, Webby!
Hey up, dudes.
Webby.
Hey up, darlings. Hey up, my lovely darling.
Hey
love.
up, petal.
How you doing, you sweet little petals?
Hey up, sweet cheeks.
You're right,
Jeez.
baby girl.
Bit fruity in here tonight.
How's your you got Miyagi Dojo t-shirt tonight?
Yeah, I'm just recycling shit at this point. I ain't got enough money to buy a different t-shirt.
Oh, I know.
Bloody week. What's going on, Maggie Do? It's my dojo. It's where I go when I'm doing me. Right.
We've got Big T Morse as hello.
Hey,
Big
Big
T's
T,
back.
how you doing, man? We missed you last week. Nice to see you. Nice.
What, were we here last
dear.
week? We were not here last week, Big T.
I think so. We
Not
noticed.
Sure. I didn't get many
We
comments.
noticed.
Felt
I
an
mean, no
absence.
pressure, no pressure, Big T. But we got loads of shit wrong last week because you weren't here to fact check us. So we rely on you. The geek community relies on you. And welcome to everybody else. We have got a fun packed show for you this week. Please feel free to leave a comment like our buddy Big T just did. Then,
It was here last week.
no, he wasn't.
So he turned it up last week. Did Rich call Daisy?
Yeah.
Did Webby go to Kate at the beauty spot and get a geek shaping wax in his bits?
I did. I got a Batman one right across my pubes.
Hey, he's keeping note of everything.
God,
that's going
you
on.
are.
That's
You
good.
see, that's why we rely on you.
We need a blog. You can be our blogger.
It's like
Some
Mr.
sort of
Continuity. It's
Some
brilliant.
genius.
It's fantastic. Honestly, I am pretty amazed.
He mentioned my Falcon dish. I just realised I ain't got the ramp. I need to get.
That's
I
your
want to get.
favourite bit as well, right?
Yeah.
Right, that's the bit you wanted to go and stand on. If
Yeah, you've always wanted to stand on that ramp.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. There. What would you do when you were standing there?
I'd probably hold on to the bottom of it, like as if it's mine. I'm just like stood there, yeah.
You pretend to shoot stormtroopers with your.
I like doing it casually, so like the passer-by thought it were mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do this all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just be waxing it, just like wax the front or something. It's me ride. It's me whip.
Yeah.
Nice.
I go. Do you want to have a look? And I go, no. Okay. You know what I mean?
What if they did want to have a look? Would you show them around then?
I'd say, I'm a bit pushed for time. If you'd like to get on board, we'll get out of here. There you go.
Oh, dear.
What's been going on this week, chaps? Anything out?
Auditions. I've already talked to you about this, Rich. A lot of auditions coming back now for all those theatrical types and TV and film. A lot of stuff going on.
Nice, hasn't it? It's been nice. I had a couple of self-tapes to do today. It's been good.
Yeah,
it's been good.
The self-tapes where they say, we've talked about this before, haven't we? Where can you do this impossible thing in one room in front of a camera? Yeah. And submit it. And you're like, no, I can't.
But the thing is, you're going for a job as an actor, though, aren't you? Not a special effects guy.
Yeah. Can you play table tennis with three people on your self-tape, please? Filming it yourself.
Yeah. I had something the other week. It was, we need you with a prop, like, so you're a cleaner and you're going into battle and we need you running. We need you running from left to right for 20 seconds. And I'm like, well, that means I need somebody to come and actually film me. And who's got a house that's big enough for you to run for 20? So I had to go out in my street and run down my street with a mop under my arm, screaming off the top of my head. My fucking neighbours hate me, man.
Yeah. We should bring some of the audition breakdowns in on here and let people know what they ask you to do, because there's some stupid shit. There really is. There's some
I had that one for Nestle's Kit Kat a couple of weeks ago, where they expected me to turn my own hand and morph it into an actual Kit Kat. How am I supposed to do that? I ain't got no cap. I ain't got nothing like that here. No green screen, nothing. So
and do you know what I'm finding worse, and this is turned into a little bit of a moan, is that you put all this effort in and you don't even get a no.
Yeah, you don't get anything.
It's just like, have the decency. Like, I've put all this work, I've spent 2 or 3 hours filming this, editing this, sending it over to you.
Lummy, take it steady with that tea.
You're really dumping that tea, man.
I've had it.
What are you going to do now? You're going to be dry all the way through with this now.
No, I've got my backup R2.
Have you?
Wow. I just think Lummy's just got all these novelty mugs that are all filled with tea that are just getting gradually colder and colder.
Right,
There's a different drink. There's a different drink in everywhere, in everyone. He's got a Jar Jar Bink that's full of Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So we've got it.
Do you know what? I tell you what I've done this week.
Go on.
I've fallen in love.
Ah.
Yeah.
Webbie.
I've re-fallen in love with my girlfriend because my partner's an excellent cook. Anybody that's eaten here, you know, she's a pretty good cook.
She's a good cook.
And the one thing that lets her down, if you like, I shouldn't really say that, but it is the lack of imagination when it comes to a salad, right? Right. It's basically when we have salad with something.
So when it comes to the bedroom,
it's a bag of leaves, it's some cherry tomatoes, a bit of cucumber, maybe some spring onion if she's feeling fancy. But anyway, she has a go at me all the time. So I say I don't like salad, but what I mean is I'm not particularly keen on that salad.
Your salad.
Your salad. So anyway, last week a mum got in touch. Said, "Oh, Joe, you've got to check out this website full of all these amazing salads." And me and her went through this website. Mind blown completely. Like stuff in salad I didn't even know you could put in it. What did she put in it? It had
tomatoes.
Yes, it was all the same stuff, just put in a different order. You put your tomatoes in first. That's the key.
It was just all grated instead. Yeah.
So I've been salading it up. We've just had an amazing salad, warm asparagus salad with feta cheese, peas, roasted chickpeas, and some sort of amazing avocado dressing. I'm like,
nice.
What? Who are you? And what
you can have some stinky pea tomorrow.
We've just got Daniel saying,
"Hey, Daniel,
my one and only audition was stag around for an hour as if I'd been punched." Just pretending.
An hour?
Brilliant. Yeah,
an hour.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's a long time.
I was in a show once. It was 5.5 hours long, and we had to be in slow motion for the entire show. The show was so long, they had an interval of 20 minutes, and then they had a supper break of an hour and 20 minutes. So like we had to get in at 2 o'clock to do a show, and we finished it at 11 o'clock at night.
Jesus.
It was mental.
Sounds like that Snyder cut.
Yeah, and mostly in slow motion. Yeah.
What are you doing? Jeez.
We've got a bit of a Bat-tastic show this week because we've got a best and worst Batman, and we are going to be having a bit of a retrospective look at the TV series Gotham later on as well. But we've got anything in the news this week, gents. I've got to admit, I've been a bit slacker when it's come to looking at
let's start with the Batman news. We've got some Batman news, right?
Yeah.
Have we?
Yeah.
Go on.
Have we?
Yeah.
Wayne Manor.
Wayne Manor. So there's a lot of set photos this week for some bizarre reason. It seems to be a week of set photos and people getting out with the drones. So this one is about Batman, the Flash movie that they're filming now. They've gone to the original Wayne Manor. Is this right, Webb?
Apparently, yeah, and there's a strong indication that this particular Batman Wayne Manor is Michael Keaton's Batman Wayne Manor.
We've got photos.
So 1989 Batman.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. It's not the one from that. They have used this Batman. They have used this Wayne Manor. It's in Lincolnshire somewhere. They've used it in other ones. They've used it in Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. So yeah, weirdly enough, it's not in the upcoming The Batman, whenever the hell that comes out with that guy from Twilight in it. It's not in that. It's not there, but it's in what is it even in?
Robert Pattinson?
No, it's in the Flash movie. You just said, sorry, yeah, the Flash movie, where the Flashes are going to run through to another universe and see. Oh, look, is that
nice? Yeah, that's
Batman behind a tree there.
Hot off the presses.
Hey, that's a new Batman.
Batman takes a piss.
Yeah. Well, you don't see him at daytime usually, and that's his idea of camouflage, just hiding behind a small branch.
It's just a creepy...
I mean,
He's better at nighttime. He's just better at nighttime. That's just his thing.
It looks like it's like literally just a bit of filming, doesn't it? It don't look like there's a whole...
No.
Maybe that's the exteriors or something.
It's the Flash movie, so I'm guessing, it's just going to run through all the different multiverses trying to make sense of some of these fucking DC movies.
Absolutely,
Maybe he's going to be the person to tie it all together and make it make sense. I don't know. But I mean, they certainly don't mind pissing about with the property. That's the other thing I heard today was the new Suicide Squad, the movie that's coming out, is not the Suicide Squad 2. It's like a redo. Not that people thought, I thought the first one was all right. A little bit too much exposition, 13 or 14 characters to introduce, and then the movie ended.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this one, I've seen the trailer already, the James Gunn one, that Guardians of the Galaxy director's directing it, and it looks pretty frigging funny. So, but yeah, it's a redo. It's not a sequel. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. I like James Gunn's.
James Gunn was told he had the permission to kill anybody he wanted in the DC world. Anybody in this movie. So the potential for who he can snuff out. Maybe he'll snuff out all.
We've got
Marvel have slipped him a little backhander and he's decided to blow up the entirety of the DC world.
Yeah. It'll just be John Cena in that silver helmet.
The Peacemaker.
We've got Webby. They want the website details for the salad.
Oh, mate, it's called Love and Lemons or something like that. Now, spoiler alert, it's American, so everything's in cups. So watch yourselves. You got to do it all in cups. But it's really good. I mean, roasted chickpeas, guys. You've never done it before. Get a tin of chickpeas, drain them, pat them with some kitchen roll so they're not wet. Stick them in the oven for 25 minutes with salt and olive oil on. Swear to God, my new favourite task.
Site there, Webby.
That's the one, yeah. Love and Lemon. We're not sponsored by them. No affiliations, but they do some awesome salads. Yeah, really, really nice.
Well, we could all do with some salads. So
yeah, you know what I mean. It's not
just give them a plug. Can't they send us a salad box each?
That'd be nice.
Maybe.
Might be wilted by the time it gets here from America, but
Big T More's asked some more, so we'll come to that in a minute because it's news related. But we'll
it's going to be better news than ours. Big T More. Stop being after our jobs.
So what else is going on in the world of geek, gents?
What else we got? We've got more set photos. We've got the one that nobody gives a shit about, the new Star Wars. Andor, based on the character, that classic character from that one movie that died at the end of the movie. Andor.
So we've got 4 photos here of different people have been putting these up all week, and they've just been filming this week in Blackpool of all places, or near Blackpool.
Yeah, and they've actually taken a diner that existed already and just padded it from the outside so it looks a bit more Star Warsy.
Yeah. That is pretty cool, actually.
I mean, it looks all right. Yeah,
it does. It does.
So like you said,
the background's not in there. It would spoil it if you could see Blackpool in the background of it.
Blackpool Tower.
Yeah, just
some bloke in his sandals and socks walking past the camera.
And then there's some there for some kind of equipment. I don't know.
Oh, what could that be? It just looks like a wooden box on it with a slightly Star Warsy design.
I've got a sofa though. Is that a sofa?
Oh yeah, it's the Star Wars sofa. That
that couch was in episode 1. It was the one that Obi-Wan sat on.
Now the interesting news Lummy's just brought up. So this
hang on a minute, we haven't finished with Andor.
Have we not? It was the mark. Sorry.
Oh man, this is the film everybody wants to see. You've got 2 more photos.
It's a film. I thought it was a show. Is it a show or a
film? It's a show.
Oh, it's a show. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, you're right. There's right here. Somebody put that. This is a Rich. You might recognise this because it's London, isn't it? Some station down in London. I can't remember which one. Is it Canary Wharf?
It looks like it might be. Yeah, it looks like it's on the Jubilee line. So yeah.
What's the one that always makes me laugh, Rich?
Cockfosters.
No.
No, not that one.
No, not that one. No, Leicester Square.
I wish it were Cockfosters. I love that.
You can see though, you can see the. 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 You can see the they've got Krennic uniforms on. The guys down the end look somebody were mourning. But then somebody said, "Is that a Jedi at the front?" You see here, this guy. But I don't know. Let me tell you.
The ginger bloke.
The guy right at the front, the Jedi.
Oh, there you go. There you
Ginger
go.
bloke.
Yeah, he's got like a Jedi cloak on.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, but I mean,
again, you're right though. Who cares?
I mean, I'm sure we'll all be watching it to see what it's like, and I think the fact that we don't give a toss about it could bode well for it. You know,
I mean, this one was from today. I literally just got this, and I don't know what they look like. Them dudes out of episode 1. You know them, the guards. Can you see the like the red and like they look like they've got metal helmets on as well?
I can't see it from here.
Yeah.
I could see one stormtrooper, a load of guys in black uniforms, and then it's spread to loads of guys in brown uniforms.
The guy stood in a square.
I mean, where's the auditions for that stuff?
Oh, could you put that photo back up a second? I just noticed something. There's a ship down there as well, isn't there? A little transporter thing.
Yeah.
In the bottom corner. I've seen that before. Is that the one that they made into a toy, but it was never in a movie, and they put it in The Mandalorian? Do you remember that last season?
Yeah. I have
that was really funny, actually. Just taking a toy that never existed and putting it in a show to make it canon was just like, that's the ultimate accolade to what they can do in it. You know, they can do whatever they want.
And speaking of, there's all sorts going on at Lucasfilm at the moment, and there's rumours flying around that Favreau might be taking over and all sorts. And
yeah, it looks like they might be after him to be the actual official head of Lucasfilm division of Disney. And rumour has it that Kathleen Kennedy could be out of a job very soon, or is already out of a job.
This seems to be loosely supported by the May the 4th poster or sort of image that they released, didn't they?
So we've been talking a bit about this for a while, but we have a sneaking suspicion that people within Lucasfilm are so unhappy with the last trilogy, they're trying to strike them from the canon. And Lummy just showed a really interesting photo.
Well, there you go.
What's missing from that? Come on, guys, answers on a postcard. I mean, we could wait for your postcards, or we could just tell you. It's that there's nothing from episode 7, 8, or 9 on that poster. How weird. But there is also Jedis you've never seen in the films. That one on that side. What was that? Bald one on that side there. It's from the cartoons, isn't she?
Oh, that's Ventress, isn't it? I think she's called her Sanja Ventress or something. I don't know. And then you've got these Bad Batch dudes down here. Even
they've made it in, but yet nothing from the new ones.
Interesting.
So maybe there is a little bit of truth to this rumor that they're going to reshoot everything.
So May the 4th is, Tuesday, and there'll be loads of, there's always discounts on video games and toys and whatever you have to for your Star Wars.
And generally a bit of news, which obviously, because it hasn't happened yet, we can't report it. So we'll tell you all about that next week. If anything interesting, juicy lands in our lap, we'll tell you about it.
We're hoping we're going to hear about this.
You are. Nobody else cares, Lummy.
I know.
I'm only kidding. I want to play it. I like it.
So, have we got any? Let's have a look. What else we got? Oh, big news! Trailer has been released for this little cracker. We've still got spring 2020 on that bottom poster.
You're not going to watch it, are you, Lummy? You're not going to watch the trailer.
I'm not going to watch the trailer. I want to go in pure.
Unsolid.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. What about the prequel? The first one? Has anybody watched that before?
I'm not watching
going to pre-ball it.
No, I'm going to make up my own prequel to it.
Yeah, go in and
pretend it's never happened.
Fair
enough. A lot's gone on. A lot's gone on between those two films. I just think, it's just carry on as we mean to go on. I'm going to just watch the second one.
What's interesting is
I don't want to live in the past.
Yeah,
there's no.
We're in a new normal now, ladies and gentlemen.
What's crazy about this, right, is I don't know how many years passed between the first movie and the second movie. But you've heard that phrase, they were shagging like bunnies. There's no baby bunnies. There should be millions of baby bunnies knocking around.
Maybe there is in the film. You haven't seen it yet. You did this with WandaVision. You jumped the gun.
Did I?
Yeah. You were like, I don't know about this WandaVision. I've watched half an episode, and I'm, just wait.
No, I didn't.
Just wait for Peter Rabbit 2 is all I'm saying.
Opposite of that.
Don't judge it.
In fairness, that was more me than Webby.
Yeah,
all right. Well, there's a lesson to be learned for everybody then.
Yeah.
Let's not jump the gun.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the lesson. Lummy talk shit is the lesson I'm getting.
Let's just wait and judge Peter Rabbit 2 on its own merits, please.
I'm not judging. I'm really looking forward to it for a different reason to you guys, because I'm going to take Robin to see it, and it's going to be the first time he's been to the pictures, and I reckon his mind is going to be completely blown. But yeah, there you go.
Nice.
So even if it's a shit movie, I mean, you can't really. I think he'll remember seeing a movie at the pictures.
Can he review it for us? Can we get his review?
Why not? Yeah, we could do that.
We've got some more news.
Yeah, more set photos probably.
Miss Marvel. Set photo.
Wow,
Miss Marvel's
that's a weird costume.
Miss Marvel's costume, yeah.
So
I mean, I don't. Does anybody out there know? Big T will probably know, but anybody know what Miss Marvel's powers actually are? Because I've seen photos of her with really stretchy arms, like Reed Richards, and a big fist. So I think she can like stretch her bones and stuff.
Yeah,
fist people and stuff.
Yeah,
fist you right in the face.
She can fist people. You're right, Webb.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not entirely sure. I mean, there's probably a little more to it that with the Marvel name being in there, because Captain Marvel can do Hulk, can't she?
I think Miss Marvel can also shrink in size, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
I think you're thinking of that Pepper Potts woman. What's she called?
Mrs. Pepper Pot.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of that Pepper Potts woman. What's her name?
Pepper Potts? You mean
Gwyneth Paltrow?
No.
I'm on about Little Miss Pepper Pot, or whatever she would call Mrs. Pepper Pot, like Richard. You never read them when you were a kid?
We had this conversation when we were doing best or worst cartoons, because we were talking about Dogtanian.
Oh, yeah.
Because you thought that there's a character that shrunk on it.
And it did.
It did. Right. You're right. Yeah, you were right. You were right.
But it shrunk out of fear. It was like, or embarrassment.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know you checked that out.
You know, we all do that, don't we, out of embarrassment?
The reason I checked it out is because...
He physically shrunk, though. He physically shrunk.
The reason I checked it out is because my girlfriend is Italian, and so we were talking about theme tunes, and she was showing me the Italian versions of like Dogtanian's theme tune and Round the World with Willy Fogg and things like that, and they all sound Japanese. It's really weird. They all sound really Japanese. It's bizarre. It's really bizarre.
Yeah,
but with the same tune. It's I
thought you were going to say your girlfriend's Italian and she showed you how she shrinks when she's embarrassed.
She does whenever she's with me. So what else is going on in the world of geek news?
I've thrown this in, but nobody wants to talk about it. Jurassic World, they've opened a new roller coaster. It's coming out in June, actually. Opening in June. I just thought, because we never talked about it. So if you're in the neighborhood,
where is that?
I think it's Universal Studios in Florida. I think.
The thing is, roller coasters are a lot of fun. They are so much fun, but the queuing, fucking it's like, where else would you go and queue for 3 hours for like 90 seconds worth of
Amsterdam?
You didn't queue. So what else is going on in the news this week, gents?
Oh God, I just had a really. Hang on, let me tell you my roller coaster story. So it's been.
We haven't got time.
No, hang on, let me tell you. This you can't make this up, really. We went to Alton Towers and it was Halloween, and they did this thing called Fear Spectacular, where they stayed open in the night and there were people walking around in costumes, and. We took it easy and we got there quite late because it was open late, about 3 o'clock. Got into the park, went to join a queue for the Sonic the Hedgehog roller coaster. Standing in the queue for about 20 minutes. And there were a power cut in Alton Towers and the whole fucking thing went down. The ride stopped. We thought, I'm glad I'm not on the roller coaster. Ride's just stopped. Whole park went dead. All lights went out and everything. So we thought, well, what are we going to do? So we asked a person working there how long this was going to take. Oh, hopefully they'll have it fixed soon. The whole park's gone down. So I thought, I'll tell you what we'll do. While we're waiting, we'll walk to the Smiler, the newest roller coaster, the big one. And we'll get in the queue while people are a bit confused and leaving the queues and stuff. And we'll just wait there and see what happens. We'll spend an hour waiting. So we're in the queue and it started to rain and we looked up and the roller coaster started moving again. And we're like, oh, phew, thank God for that. So we stood in that queue for another 2 hours. Finally got on the roller coaster. Which, bear in mind, we've been in the park for about 3.5 hours at this point, not been on a roller coaster yet. Got on the roller coaster. It all worked fine. We got off at the other end. Great ride and everything. Looked at each other. It was like 6 o'clock. We were like, I don't know about you, man. I'm fucking knackered now. Should we go? Going home after being on one roller coaster? It was just the most ridiculous.
But that's the thing. If you go first thing in the morning, like 9 o'clock in the morning, if you're queuing up for like 2 or 3 hours per ride and you leave at 6 o'clock, you're only going to get to go on 3 or 4 rides. It's just.
Yeah, why don't they give you something to do in the queue?
Like roller coasters to go on.
Do you know this is why I prefer all the theme parks in America and stuff, because they actually think about this stuff. Whereas over here, in the UK, there's no theming really, is there?
But Lummy, they could take it out. They just realised that the general British public wouldn't be happy with that. What they really want is something to fucking moan about as they're having fun. Do you know what I mean? Well, that was fun, but I really didn't like that bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if they took it out, which they can do, they probably can. Look at the research from other more successful parks that turn over the rides really quick. But no, I've heard the same. I've heard the same applies in Universal.
So what do you mean? So they've got things that keep you entertained when you're in the queue, or you're not queuing as long.
Well, they seem to have it more managed. I don't know why. You don't seem to be queuing as long for anything. It's not like over here where, like you say, 3 hours. I think the only recent example, they opened that Harry Potter thing, didn't they? That Hagrid's motorbike ride in Universal Studios, and people were queuing for hours and hours for that. But it only just opened. Whereas I think they do fast pass systems and all that stuff.
Yeah, but that's just an excuse to get another 50 quid a person out of you for the fast track ticket, isn't it? And then you in the queue.
No, the fast track's free. You get a fast track. You get one to use, and then
Holland Towers it in.
Oh no, not all. I'm on about American ones. This is why I'm saying they do it right.
Yeah, all right.
So you get at least a ticket to go on a good ride straight away, or at a certain time. Maybe you have to. But you can come back. You don't have to queue for 2 hours. You can go do something else, then come back at your allotted time and go on that ride. And then you can, after you use that fast pass, you get another one for maybe a couple of hours later. Then, so you're only allowed one at a time, but you can at least get on 2 big rides at one, in one day, and queue for the rest of them.
Okay.
But yeah, the queuing really does put me off even going to the theme park, man. I'd love to go to Disneyland in America. I'd love to go to Universal Studios, but I just can't be bothered queuing. Can't be asked. Too old.
We'll have a geek trip once we. This program pays for itself, so
it's true. Especially now we've got the Coca-Cola money coming in.
Yeah, we'll go. If you want to see us at a theme park, donate $3,000 each, and
we need to get a really expensive Patreon account set up. Where it's like the minimum is £1,000 a month. It's like, and what would we give our Patreons for £1,000 a month?
Satisfaction.
Nathan's kid. I don't know for that much.
We'll take them on the journey to the theme park with us. That's what we'll give them.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll give them footage.
Yes.
We'll film our experience for them, and they can live vicariously through us.
You pay for us all to go to Universal Studios, and we will go with you. Yeah.
So, is there any more news?
Any other news?
Well, you asked me to get a picture of.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who was in Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Sorry, which is now what it's called. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Spoiler alert. We were thinking about talking about it, but none of us are particularly bothered about the show, so there's not much to say, really.
Yeah, and I don't think that was much of a spoiler because we could all see. Everyone knew where it was going. I mean, you could see that from the end of Endgame. You could still see. So it was going to be the reluctant, hero.
See, I barely gave a shit about the last Captain America, and having seen what I've seen now, I give less of a shit now about the new one. He's got a worse costume somehow. How the hell has that happened? His costume's gone down, and it's like
I like him. I like the character.
Oh,
I like the
yeah,
actor.
I think they're
I
both
just
great
didn't
actors.
like, and the guy who does plays Winter Soldier as well. It was brilliant. Both really good. Like the friendship, like the partnership, like the relationship. Really good. Just it was underwhelming. It was yeah. It looked like they had a theatrical actress playing in a badly written character as well. I just thought her lines were all quite supposed to be quite sort of profound, and they just weren't. And
yeah, I've got to agree there. It didn't seem to have that gravitas, did it? And I don't know whether that's because it was a TV show but you know, there's other stuff that's on TV, and it's great. So
I loved all the effects and the action in it, though. It was great.
Yeah,
but that's what
it seemed a bit odd, didn't it? There was something missing, I think, from it. I don't quite, but you know, watched it.
Just something interesting. Something interesting in there. So yeah, the character that's supposed to be this revolutionary that is leading this mob is like the most uninspiring leader ever. So it's not believable. It's not. You're not there with her. You know
also,
what I mean?
She blows a building up at one point and murders a load of people, and then they're trying to get her to be like on the good side, and it really felt like
misunderstood.
Yeah, well, weird. That.
I mean, in fairness,
hang on, she did just murder all those people.
In fairness, her cause was just, you know, and that is exactly why. I know. Yeah, I mean,
but was it just after she killed all? You know, was it still just after she killed all the people? That's what it didn't quite sit.
Oh, I think the cause was always just her method.
The cause is all right. I'll tell you what didn't sit right with me was this. Disney and Marvel seem to use this show as a bit of a flagship for putting across a really popular modern agenda and ramming it down your fucking throat. So literally at the end of the series, Captain America, what's he called, Falcon, who is now Captain America, gives us all a massive lecture, a fucking massive 5-minute lecture. And he's talking to the bad guys, or he's talking to the government, but really he's talking to you in the screen. Book up your ideas, stop being a fucking racist piece of shit. And, you know, and I just thought, hang on a minute. It just felt like they were trying to cram it down my throat. It just felt a bit icky.
Do you know what? That never occurred to me. I just thought it made sense because of the storyline that they had.
A bit preachy, soapboxy, you know.
I guess. I mean, some of the films have never really done in a way. I think I'm right saying that. You know, there's never really been too. The films are just what they are. I think this is the trouble with a lot of things, though. Now they have to put their kind of, like you say, a bit of an agenda across with a lot of it, and you do think, oh, come on, I just want to be entertained.
The cause is a just cause. I completely agree with the point of it. I just felt like it was a bit preachy. I really did. Because it. Do
you think a lot of stuff is though? I think a lot of stuff is at the moment.
Basically, you've got Captain America, who's now Captain America, admitting to himself that he can handle the role and telling people to deal with the fact that he's black. Deal with the fact you've got a black Captain America now. I'm not the Black Falcon. I'm not the Black this. I'm Captain America, and I think that's great. That's all well and good, but I don't know. I think it.
I thought you meant you were lecturing people on, you know, on the. I don't know.
The whole bit at the end where he's being interviewed in the street, and it's like preaching about a few topics. You know, there's a couple of things going on. Maybe it's just me, but
talking about weaponizing. There are all sorts going on, weren't there? You know.
Yeah, you know. I mean, it just. I don't know. I expected a little bit more. After WandaVision, I really thought it was going to have a twist or something in it, but it was just bog standard. They're a great partnership, Winter Soldier and Falcon. They get, you know, they're pretty cool together. But I just don't know if they had the.
I agree with you on the bad guy. You know, the bad guy wasn't to me like good enough. It just didn't feel like.
It could have been so much better. Like actually, the concept of this. I mean, they did it all the way through the 90s as well, where they had all these good causes being the bad guys, you know, because you know that's what was popular in news, particularly politicized in sort of America, where anything that isn't, you know, bang in line with capitalism is communism, you know, and so suddenly they're all the enemies. And so they did that in this, that it was those sort of domestic terrorist kind of people, but they were massively wronged. And I think there was something really cool that they could have done with that, because they were super soldiers, they had the serum, but it just seemed like they had an idea but couldn't really tie all the various narratives and characters together.
Forget, it might have been rushed, this, as well, because I don't know what the...
They did pull some sneaky shit as well, didn't they? They did pull some sneaky shit. So having Julia Louis-Dreyfus show up as this background shadowy character who's into loads of different things, and also the fact that Peggy Carter's daughter is actually a double agent and she's on she's a baddie.
Wait a minute,
whatever she's called.
Can't do a donation for deal.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
To be fair, I'm always up for a free lunch, so yeah, no problems at all. Thanks, Big T. We're going to hold you to that.
So yeah, I was underwhelmed by the whole Winter Soldier, Captain America, Falcon thing. Personally, I'm not really bothered about what comes next for them.
I'm interested in seeing what happens with those two characters. I just hope that they handle that the studio handles the storylines better, and that's going to be a theme that kind of runs through the show. I think when we get onto best and worst
I think it would have made a better movie if they'd have chopped an hour and a half out of the story and just left it as a movie, 2-hour movie. Would have been fine.
Yeah.
Didn't need a massive series.
Do you think that is a problem with this Disney Plus stuff? They need content and they're going, let's do a full series and draw out.
Absolutely need
possibly,
content. Because, I did the free trial, watched everything I wanted to watch on there, and then just cancelled. The only reason I have a Disney Plus subscription now is because of the things that we review on the show.
Yeah,
that's the only reason. I'm not interested in watching anything on there. And actually, as a platform, I've said it time and time again, if you're trying to skip through
its interface is fucking awful.
It's awful. It's
Disney,
dreadful.
sort it out. You're a multi-billion-dollar company.
Dreadful.
Yeah,
particularly really when you're watching on the PlayStation Network. It's woeful.
We've got some big team models and a bit of research for us here. Let's go on this.
Nice.
Miss Marvel can stretch a bit like Ant-Man, go big and small. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sounds sexy. Sounds very sexy.
We've got. Let's have a look. Did you see Marvel's Shang-Chi? Oh, yeah.
I did, and again, I'm not massively familiar with the character, so I've got no frame of reference. It looked all right. It looked all right. I'll watch it. I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah, I've got to say, I watched the trailer for that, and I went, I don't know. I bet it's because you don't know enough about the character yet, and
Yeah, that's the exciting point.
Hopefully, it's something different, though, and I think that's good that the different stuff is coming out. They're not just relying on the, here's Captain America, here's Spider-Man. They are bringing some of the lesser-known things out, which I think
they are. Yeah, and sometimes it works for me. I've never been a massive Doctor Strange fan. I quite like the movie of it. Yeah. I like the introduction to the character and what it's all about. And I've always just never really paid attention to that side.
Yeah.
And I think it depends who's handling it as well, who's directing it and who's playing it. So like James Gunn mentioned earlier on, he's taking a character like the Peacemaker, and he was saying that he could have a whole film just him because he's just.
I think we talked about this last week.
Yeah, we've talked about this a couple of times because Jamie Foxx is also reprising Electro. There's a rumor that the other Spider-Men might be in Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire might be popping up.
They're in it. I like the idea. I like the idea of doing that. But this is something we talked about that DC don't do. DC have just messed up their universe so much that there's no real way to join it all together. But that's unless they do it with the Flash.
Yeah, but fuck me, it's going to be some effort to tie all that bullshit together. It really is going to have to need, to tie Aquaman to Batman versus Superman and the Justice League and Wonder Woman, and there's just no explanation. So the other thing is as well that Kathleen Kennedy at the minute is taking credit for grabbing hold of the director of Wonder Woman 2, Wonder Woman 84, to direct the next Star Wars movie.
Oh, yeah.
Really? Honestly, my heart sank when I heard that. Wonder Woman 84 was by far one of the worst, most expensive pieces of shit film I've seen in a long time.
Have you seen it, Rich?
No, I haven't. But
save yourself 2.5 hours.
It's horrible. The first one is actually the first one looks like a fucking classic film compared to this one. The first one wasn't great.
The first one was great. I enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
I thought it was all right, but yeah, I don't know what they did wrong.
I'll tell you what they did wrong. Apparently, the director, I've forgotten the name at the moment. Patty Jenkins, that's it. She wrote the second one, and this is what there were some rumours saying she can direct films, but she can't write for shit. So she wrote the script for the second one and directed. And the trouble is, as we've seen with loads of people, they get surrounded by people who just won't question what they're doing, don't they? So they can put anything into it, even if it doesn't work. Happens all the time.
There's that whole sort of storyline where she's accompanied by Chris Pine's character from the first movie. Just some inexplicable shit where his spirit jumped into another body of another person.
And then she bones him.
So it's disappointing because the first Wonder Woman film,
no consent, and she bones this guy who's it's like what?
The first Wonder Woman film was really good.
Yeah, imagine if you woke up like that and you'd be like, "Hang on a minute, why does my dick smell like Wonder Woman?"
Again, the first season of Jessica Jones was brilliant.
Nice to see we got some Peter Rabbit fandom going on there in the photo.
Oh yeah, she's a biggie. She's a big Potter.
Wow, that's
maybe Rich can call her and go see it with her.
Call her. Somebody call her, for God's sake.
Call Daisy, come on.
Maybe I should call her.
So
cry for help.
Gents, any other news before we? Sorry.
So where's that leave us then with all that?
Well, where it leaves us is with our best and worst Batman.
Hang on, we've got one more thing from Big Timor. Sorry.
Go on. No, it's fine.
Need to shift somewhere to get a movie without what? Workout
playlist.
All right.
Okay.
That's...
Well, you got all your obvious stuff from the 80s, like, what's that one from Karate Kid?
Hang on.
You got the touch, you got the power.
Yeah.
You got
I was going to say Rocky films.
Rocky films, all that shit. But if you want to go a little bit out, a bit further afield, anything you want can be a workout track if it's got the right tempo. I missed that comment. I was thinking.
Dark Knight Trilogy, Lord of the Rings, Dread, some tracks from
Flashdance.
I'll tell you what might be a good one. That'll really get you moving. The Benny Hill
really
theme.
Get your mum.
Really get your mum.
So really get your mum annoyed.
The Benny Hill theme.
Get your mum moving.
Stick the Benny Hill theme on, because if you're bored, then at least you'll have a laugh as you comedy and all it.
Yeah, I mean, Top Gun's got some classics as well. And
if you're ever driving along, play the Benny Hill film because it makes everybody outside the car look hilarious. Little tip for you.
Nice. Fair enough. Well, I hope that's helped you out. I'm going to have a think, see if I can think of any more over the week. I'm going to go and read my 80s soundtrack collection.
You've got the touch was Transformers the movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
But it's going to be in other things as well.
Yeah. And the one from the end of the Karate Kid is, I am a man who will fight for your honor.
Yeah. Glory of Love. Peter Satar, is it?
Tons of shit like that. Yeah, there's so many times.
Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, the Rocky ones, yeah. Right, gents, looking at the time, let's move on. I charged Nathan and Chris this week with picking their best and worst Batmen, things to do with Batman. And because there are a few films, but we didn't want to be picking over the same subject material, we opened it up to the Batman world. And I'm sure we've each got our own... sort of criteria as to what makes this, but let's start with Webby. I
was just giggling then because every time you speak and you do that for dramatic effect, you go really quiet. Then you come out like that really loud. My best Batman. Okay, right. Two schools of thought on this. I nearly went for a movie, but honestly, none of the Batmen in the movies been perfect for me yet. They haven't been the right thing. There's been some good stuff, but my perfect Batman is the Batman from Arkham Asylum, and let me explain why. It's because this is a game that did exactly what I've always wanted. This makes you believe you're Batman. You don't just get to run in and beat everybody up. You got to use your brain. You got to look around. You got to use your detective vision. You got to solve the mystery.
Got to use your sass.
You got to be sassy. Yeah, a bit sass. Get a bit of Batmobile action. But the cast
It's
list
really good on the gadgets as well and things like that.
And they really have just picked from the well of all the best super villains, and you've got to encounter all of them at some point as you're going through the trilogy. Is it, or is there 4 of them now? I can't remember. 3 or 4, isn't there? They did one that wasn't attached to the other 2, Origins, which was made by another company.
It got slayed, that one, didn't it? But I didn't mind it. I don't know why.
Right, that one.
It went right. It's not an official one. It's like, it looks pretty official to me when you're playing it and running around.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't like Batman Arkham Knight either because they couldn't get to grips with driving the Batmobile. I'm like, boo, just fucking figure it out, suck it up, or be a shit Batman.
I loved it.
Drive a Batmobile. You can't be Batman. Honestly, when I first played that game, I found the Batmobile really tricky. But once you learn how to do it, it really does become a part of the story.
Have you guys never played a game before? I mean,
me.
What? Why did you find it hard?
The Batmobile is so fucking awkward to control in that game. It was so difficult to control. It was a barrier for me. I didn't get past that point. I was like, I just can't be asked.
You could have walked, instead.
Yeah. Do you know what? As well,
first encounter with the Batmobile, I was like, I'm done.
If you're expecting the game mechanics to be similar to other games, like for example, to get in the Batmobile, you press triangle like you do in bloody GTA, then you're going to be in for a shock because it's not the same accelerate button, so it throws you off and you've got to figure it out. But once I got to grips with it, thoroughly enjoyed it, and I found it really, really challenging trying to do those Riddler maps where you've got to do the races under the sewers and stuff. Really difficult, and I get what you're saying. It was difficult, but I'm really glad I got through it because the rest of the game was fucking brilliant, and the twist as well with spoiler alerts, but with the Joker's, how the Joker comes back into it, considering he's been dead for like 2.5 games. It's really clever because in that one, Rich, because I know you're not going to play it, I'll tell you, it's kind of
no, I might do. Stop.
All right, okay. He's still in it basically. The Joker's still in it, and he's still relevant in it. It works.
It's really good.
Really cool, yeah. And also you got the whole, so you need that Batmobile because you've got the whole city to fuck about in. You know what I mean?
There's a new one coming out in there, this Gotham Knights as well.
Yeah, Batman's not even in it because, well, if you played the other one, you'd know why, but you haven't, so I can't tell you.
He's on holiday.
He's gone on holidays.
No, but you had the whole city in the other Arkham game to play around in.
You didn't. You got like half the city.
You got Arkham City, we're on lockdown.
Yeah, you get Arkham City.
Of course.
Yeah, and you're stuck in one part of the city. You can't get over the borders, and then the new one you can go all over the place. But I like it for the Easter eggs. But anyway, that's my favourite Batman because it lets me pretend I'm Batman. None of the movies have done that. Do you know what I mean? So it's the closest I'm ever going to get, guys. And I really did. I really got into using the gadgets. I've managed to do I've managed to platinum both those first games, and they were rock hard. The hardest games I've ever platinumed. Things like Doom.
Do you remember I did one of the things you were after for ages, one of the achievements before. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
On one of them, I can't remember what achievement it was. I always remember you going mad because I did it.
No, you'd done it, and I wanted to know how you'd done it because it was difficult. Yeah.
I can't remember what achievement it was though.
There's some stupid ones in there. So not only have you got to fight a bunch of bad guys and not get punched once. And get
the gadget one? You had to use every gadget.
You have to use all of his combat moves in
really?
a row while chaining the combo together. Really difficult. Awesome games. Again, the cast. That is another Batman that I really truly like. Is Kevin Conroy, who does the voice for the Batman in the Arkham franchise. He's the bloody guy from the cartoon show. He's done a lot of different. He's got a great Batman voice. Mark Hamill's still in it. It's great. It opens up. Some of the characters come back. Some of the bad guys come back, and you've got to fight them again. But there's new ones as well. It's just a cool little game. Really like.
No, it's great. It's brilliant series of games. And what's your worst? Go on.
I was gonna say, God, what was your worst one?
What is your worst one? My
worst one is Batman in the latest Justice League. Both of them, any of them. But for me, so I'm getting all excited about them finally releasing a decent version of Justice League. And I watched it. It was all right, even with it being all in slow motion. I quite liked it. But what I really liked Batfleck. I know some people here. I quite liked him. I like having an older, chunkier, weirder, different Batman, a bit gruffer, because it reminded me of all the Frank Miller Dark Knight stuff, where he's older and he's got a bit of a paunch and he's grizzled and grey-haired. So I liked Batfleck. But in this particular movie, he may as well have not been in it. He doesn't fucking do anything. He's just assisting from the sidelines to help other guys out. In fact, Alfred was better than him. Alfred had more to do in this movie than Batman did. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just, fatigued from seeing 4 hours of Justice League. But from my mind, I want a single thing in it that Batman did it
you're not wrong at all. You're not wrong at all.
That missed. So there's a lot of bad Batmans out there that I could have Batmans that I could have picked from. This is the one I picked because what's the point in putting Batman in a fucking movie if you're just not going to use him?
Not going to use him properly. I completely agree.
It's so weird as well. That extended cut, the Snyder cut, it fleshed out every other character apart from. Very strange.
There's one more thing before we move on. I know neither of you picked this, but it is worth an honourable mention. If you guys out there haven't seen it, the Lego Batman movie is fucking awesome. And that is my next best Batman, just simply because he's played so comedically. It's done, the timing, it's brilliant. Riffing on the loneliness and I work alone and all that stuff. It's just a genius movie. So, I love Batman and I love Lego, so shock.
Cool. Well, thank you very much.
Give it a go.
Lummy, how about you? What is your best Batman?
I went for the animated series, Batman the Animated Series. When this first came out, I just thought, brilliant. The style is amazing. As Webb said, the voice acting, Mark Hamill as the Joker.
Same cast from the Arkham franchise, isn't it?
Yeah, they obviously did a good job on this, enough for him to go, let's have him in the game as well. But all the villains as well in it, it's all really good. I love the kind of the 20s, 30s style. The
noir
kind of.
They use really beautiful and clean animation, isn't it? It's really simple and.
They used the Danny Elfman theme as well at the start. You think, here we go. Obviously,
is it the portrayal of Batman himself, or is it just the way that they're portraying the Batman universe that you like?
Yeah, the universe. I kind of went for that rather than just sticking to a Batman.
It's a really fleshed out version of Batman, and it's a really well fleshed out version.
It's really interesting to me as well because it doesn't have to be really, because it is a cartoon. It's really a cartoon that really goes for getting everything right. Rather than just go, here's a cartoon series, stick it on a Saturday morning. Nobody will ask questions. We don't matter about any kind of what do you call it? Where not canon and things like that, but they really go through and they stick to the gun. It's all nicely done. It's really, really good.
I think they do follow on the story as well, don't they? If something happens in episode 1, it still applies 10 episodes later. I thought it was quite good at.
Like I say, when I first saw it, I just thought, this is really, really cool. And I wasn't that bothered about Batman, really. I've never been, probably the first time I actually watched something with it, other than the movies, I watched them, but not a massive fan.
Well, by any chance, did you prick your ears up to this series because you knew Mark Hamill was in it? Because that was. At the time when he got this role, he really wasn't doing a lot. I know he's getting a lot of accolade for his voice work now, which he totally deserves. His voice is fucking brilliant. He's a great impersonator. Yeah. But it took him a long time to get that recognition.
Yeah. But it's his Joker's so far removed from Luke Skywalker and everything that brilliant.
He's awesome. What about your worst Batman, Lummy?
Worst one, I picked this little chestnut. The Batman and Robin film with Clooney and Schwarzenegger and Chris O'Donnell, Uma Thurman, Silverstone. I remember seeing this at cinema. It's just garbage. There's nothing good about this film at all. And Clooney looks like he don't give a shit, which is fine. But when you couple it with all the rest of it, it's just a giant advert. The whole film is just an advert.
That is exactly what went wrong with it. So. Is it Joel Schumacher?
Yeah.
All right, today. So basically,
who directed Batman and Batman Forever as well.
But he said what happened was the studio. By that point, so you'd had this really dark sort of Tim Burton film, and then the second film was again pretty dark, but not as sort of film noir-y. It had lots of sort of more blood and gore and things like that. And by the time they started. Getting to the third film, they decided that the toy companies had so much invested in these films that they started to dictate what the costumes had to look like, what the vehicles had to look like. So suddenly it became unrecognizable from the previous films, and basically they ran the show on it.
Do you know what they do as well? Go on.
I was just going to say what's fortunate for Batman Forever is that Batman and Robin came next, because that film fucking sucks. It's terrible. Batman Forever is awful, awful film. The Batman in that is just as bad as George Clooney, but he ain't got any nipples. I mean, if Val Kilmer was so good as Batman, how come they never asked him back for the next one? You know what I mean? It was terrible. It was a terrible film. The only thing that held it together was Jim Carrey bamboozling you with his fucking antics and making you think it's a good film. We all thought it was a good film when it came out, but I guarantee
it did really well in the box office.
Yeah, it did. It did, but that's because, like you say, they reduced the age rating as the films went on, didn't they? So it was more family oriented. Whereas now, what happens is when you've got a film like Deadpool, they don't make it a 12 when it comes out next. It's still an 18 because they realise that there's still value in writing for adults and still make money, you know. So anyway, Batman Forever.
I'll tell you, the worst mistake they always make with these films, they put too many villains in it as well, and too many, you know. Yeah. Yeah, they're trying, because Bane's in this as well. I don't know if you remember, but it's
I do. Drew Barrymore's in it as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
The last one.
No, that was Batman Forever.
That was Forever.
But yeah, they were just rubbish, and it's a good job it stopped after that, because and they had to reboot it. Because God, what would have been the next one if that had done well?
No, absolutely.
Jesus.
Cool.
Yeah, it was
in an alternate reality. There's another film after that series. With who would you have as Batman? There's a question for you.
I'm just reckoning that at some point in some multiverse somewhere, there is a version of Batman played by George Clooney that doesn't suck, because he's not a terrible actor.
I was going to say that in the alternate universe, it's going to be Nicolas Cage, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there was a Superman thing, wasn't there, with Nicolas Cage?
Oh, I'm so glad that didn't come out, because it looks like Batman and Robin before it even got off the ground. The costume, the mullet hairdo, it was ridiculous. Tim Burton, right?
Batman.
Kevin Smith wrote a version of it that was apparently too good because it actually referenced things that people had never heard of from the comics, characters that people weren't familiar with. Because this guy's read a few comics, so it never got off the ground. Superman Lives. Apparently, that's one of them scripts that's available online. I've never read it, but I hear it's all right. But
nice one, Lummy. Well, thank you very much. Well, I know. I can't imagine having. Well, actually, I've got some alternate choices for Batman in my best version of Batman, because my best version of Batman is Batman '89, the Tim Burton Batman. It's again, I'm going nostalgia here, but also just because it's fucking cool. And I know Webby says that he's seen it and it doesn't stand up. I watched it 2 years ago. For me, it just still stands up just as well as.
That's one of those movies that I wish it did for me. I really do, because the love I had for that film, the excitement in summer of '89 when that came out, I had Batman everything, and the sticker book, the trading cards, T-shirts. We had the Prince album. We had everything. We couldn't wait to see it, and it blew my mind when I saw it. And it's just one of those for me. It is a little bit. I've heard too much negative shit about Tim Burton since then. Do you know what I mean? From people that I respect, taking the piss out of the fact that why would you let a guy who's never read a comic in his life direct a fucking Batman film? And I think, you've got a point.
Because he did it justice. It's absolutely brilliant.
Justice.
And for me, as what was I? I was 11. I was 11 when it came out, and it's brilliant. Absolutely adored that film.
Do you know what's really funny about it? Sorry, just going back to it, right? You've got a Batman, if you look at it, for the whole movie, he can't move his neck. It's like that all the way through. The rub around his neck's so thick, so every time he turns around, it's like his whole body's got to turn with him. But they still made it work, man.
So I decided to look for some facts surrounding the film. So I didn't realise that Warner Brothers used Robin Williams to lure Jack Nicholson into the film. So they'd originally offered it to Jack Nicholson. Their original choices had also been Tim Curry, William Dafoe, David Bowie as the Joker, and Robert De Niro and Jeff Goldblum they'd all considered, but they wanted Nicholson. I know, can you imagine? They wanted Nicholson. He didn't like the film idea, so he said no. So they offered it to Robin Williams, who said yes. And then Jack Nicholson was like, actually, no, I do want to do that film. So they were like, excellent, that worked. And they got Jack Nicholson. And as a result, Robin Williams didn't work again for Warner Brothers until they'd apologized to him for doing that. And then
they burned him on the Riddler, didn't they, as well? Is that
no, he burned them on the Riddler. They offered him the role of the Riddler and he turned it down. It was filmed in 3 months, including the Christmas break. That's all. And if you look at all of the other Batman films, they've all taken longer to film. And when there wasn't really a sort of a movie version of Batman, there wasn't a template for it. It was a pretty amazing job to do that. Michael Jackson was first offered the opportunity to do the soundtrack. He turned it down. 50,000 fans wrote protest letters, actual physical letters. Because like 1989, we could all fire out an angry tweet or an email.
All right, Grandad. Do you remember them?
50,000 actual letters on paper. 50,000 on paper. On paper, Lummy. Paper.
Bloody hell.
Complaining about Michael Keaton being given the role because he was popular. He was famous for doing comedy roles up to that point. Mel Gibson was first choice for Batman. They wanted Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson and fucking Robin Williams.
But the original director wasn't going to be Tim Burton. It was the director of Lethal Weapon. So he wanted Mel Gibson, and Mel Gibson was then he left until Tim Burton came in, and then they still wanted Mel Gibson, but he was busy doing Lethal Weapon 2.
Richard Donner directed Superman, so it makes sense.
Yeah. And it sold
some of that Superman money.
Batman 89 sold 10 million more tickets than The Dark Knight Rises, which I think's pretty fucking phenomenal.
But to be fair, there is a massive, massive difference in the way this movie was marketed and the way The Dark Knight was marketed. They didn't go full, do you know what I mean? Bat signals on every fucking bus stop in 1989.
Yeah. I had the Batman cereal. It tasted exactly the same as the WWF cereal, Superstars cereal. It was just that generic cereal that it's what we talked about the Ghostbusters one, where they just slap a brand on this generic flavor of cereal. Adam West was disappointed that he wasn't offered the opportunity to play Batman in the film. I mean, the guy was like 70 at the time, and he was.
Could have stuck him in as Alfred. Why not?
No. Actually, no. They wanted him to play Bruce's dad. Wayne. Yeah, they wanted to play Bruce's dad, but it just fell through. They were.
Because you realise he can't really act.
On the DVD, on the DVD of the film, there is some artwork, some original artwork for the film, and it shows Robin in it, and they originally planned to have Robin in that Batman and have the story of how the circus and the accident with his family and all that stuff. And Ben Affleck and Matt Damon both auditioned for the roles, and Kiefer Sutherland and Michael J. Fox also auditioned for the role of Robin. So they are my Batman 89 facts, which I just thought were quite interesting. I don't need to sell the film. It's brilliant. So I just thought I'd offer some.
Michael J. Fox as Robin.
Could you imagine that? That'd be incredible.
Hey, Batman!
And my worst Batman would have been Batman and Robin. But instead, it is Batman versus Superman, and this is why
you changed it. I forgot you changed it.
This is why I don't have an issue with Tim Burton having never read a comic before, because Zack Snyder is the sort of guy that it just reminds me of the sort of frat guy that doesn't read comics, but then found like some of the grittier comics that you've got nowadays, and like, oh no, these comics are better than others because they've got sex in them, and swearing and stuff like that. So I just don't like the way that Zack Snyder portrays his idea of Batman. And this isn't about Batfleck. I like Batfleck. I think he's great in it.
How uncomfortable does he look on that picture, though?
It looks very uncomfortable.
Well, look at that compared to the.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, he looks so much more natural in that other one.
That's very, very true.
Isn't it weird though? It is weird.
Yeah, I mean, it is a weird suit, but I think that's what I like about it. You know, it's just weirdly chunky and weird. It's just strange.
Oh, we got strange how you don't mention how bad. Do you know what? I actually forgot all about her. Sorry, she's terrible. Yeah, she's awful.
Yeah,
she is.
Yeah, she
is. Well, Chris O'Donnell's terrible. They're all terrible in it. It's all bad.
Robin is supposed to be like 15 years old, and Chris O'Donnell looks about 42.
Uma Thurman as well. Where what's that line she says? When I told Lady Phrase, it's terrible.
I couldn't even make that out. What did you say?
Like I told Lady Phrase, this is a one-woman show. It's awful.
I'm not going to lie, Lummy, that sounds a bit like your Trump impression.
Oh, my God.
No, Trump is... That's Trump.
You know,
like I told Biden. I didn't want to go political. Like I told Biden when I took his job off it. Oh, no, I didn't. Yeah, I don't do politics.
So anyway, Schneider is the kind of guy, for me, who believes that Batman is an anti-hero, and Batman isn't an anti-hero. He works with the police. He doesn't kill people, and that is his main thing.
I work alone.
Batman doesn't kill people. I mean, that's and I'm not
Robin this all the time. It's like Robin's like not real like Batman and Robin. My Robin keeps when he plays with his fingers, it's like, bashed him into him. Oh, Batman killed him. I'm like, Batman, you're missing the point.
Yeah, it's fundamentally in Batman's hero. That's the whole point, because his parents died. Spoiler alert, in case nobody knew that. Because his parents died, that is his thing. Human life is sacred. So he doesn't kill people. Yet fucking Schneider's got him killing people left, right, and center. And then the thing that's fundamentally flawed as well with that film is that you've got these two really good guy heroes that don't kill people who are trying to actually kill each other because they've killed people. It's like it should be called hypocrite versus hypocrite.
That isn't even the problem ridiculous. With that movie. The problem with that movie is it all falls apart when Superman's under Batman's fist about to get napped, because Batman's figured out if he slices some kryptonite into his armor, he can have a go at Superman. And just before he's going to land the killer blow, he's like, Martha. And, like, what did you say?
Yeah.
And then you're like, that's my mom's name as well. Yeah. We could be best friends now. It was just the most ridiculous turning point.
I mean,
which was going to be my final point. But yeah.
But the funny thing is about that, right? All this stuff, we know how hard it is to get stuff made and get scripts commissioned and go through all the production funding and all that shit. Who the hell thought that was a great idea?
I'll tell you how
it's just like, wait, what? Your mum's called... My mum's called Martha.
Yeah, but what should have happened, right?
Dude!
We're besties now, buddy. What should have happened, to bring it back to the fight, right, is Superman goes, Martha, and Batman goes, what did you say? He says, Martha, we got to save Martha. And he's like, my mum's name's Martha. And Superman goes, my mum's name's Martha as well. But my mum's alive, and they just start fighting again. I can't believe you brought that up, you son of a bitch. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, as a part of this Batman extravaganza, I've got a little treat for you. I googled some bad Batman jokes. Let's see what you think of these puppies. Right, these are the ones that made the cut.
Let me just before we lose these comments, one sec. Best one is come out from the Batman animated series. Fantastic.
That's 3 of us.
Worst Batman, Josh Clooney, Here we go. Batman 89 is great. Just the Prince dates a bit, but still awesome. I didn't want to get too ahead of the comments, that's all.
Yeah, no, you're
Batman
right.
versus Superman, the Batman warehouse fight scene is brilliant.
The action's great. Action. Zack Snyder does direct really good action. You know, that's why 300 was so good. You know, but it's just a really basic story, and that's why he was able to tell it so well.
Because he puts a weird filter over everything, so it looks a bit greyed out.
That's a bad filter. That's a bad filter.
Don't you mention the bad filter, son of a bitch.
Go on, sorry.
Right. Okay, let's have a look at some shit Batman jokes. Right. Why does Batman only wear dark colours?
In case he shits himself.
Because he likes it at the dark night.
This is bad. I'm telling you. The actual answer is because he doesn't want to get shot. Right? But then it goes on to a second part. Why does Robin only wear bright colours?
Because he doesn't want to get shot.
Batman doesn't want to get shot. This is just ridiculously shit.
Actually, that's quite fun.
That's all right.
All right, I went to Blockbusters 20 years ago when it was open, and I asked if I could rent Batman Forever, and the man at the counter said, "No, you can only have it for the week."
These are good, man.
That is. Lummy's like, right, when do the comedy clubs open again?
I've got a topical one for you, right? Why does Batman's mask not cover the lower half of his face? Topical one. It's so all the
because he's an anti-vaxxer.
It's actually so all the cops can see that he's white.
Oh,
it's a bit topical, isn't it? That one.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't write them. Anyway, why doesn't Batman have supervision? Because both his parents are dead.
Wow. I mean, that is a take, isn't it? Wowzers.
Oh, this is my favourite one. Have you heard of Batman? Have you heard Batman's got a new sidekick? Hi-Hat Man. Hi-Hat Man. He's a symbol. He's a symbol of justice. Symbol? Hi-Hat? No?
That's awful. That's awful. Can we move on?
Last one. Here we go. Genie, you have freed me from your lamp. I grant you one wish. Kid, great. I want to be just like Batman. Genie, your wish is granted. Both your parents are dead.
Right. Okay. So we decided.
There you go. That's the best the internet had to offer on Batman jokes.
I'm so sorry. Right, so we decided that we were going to have a retrospective look at the TV series Gotham that, aired between 2014 and 2019, ran for 5 seasons, I think, and actually skipped a lot of people by. But I just thought this was a brilliant little show. What did you guys think?
Never saw it. Did you, Webb? No.
No, I've never seen it.
Never seen it.
Excellent. So, well, I'll tell you what.
I think I started watching it before you, Gittins. And I sort of
I think you probably did.
Tentatively recommended it to you because I wasn't proud that I was enjoying it.
Do you know?
There's something messed up about it. What were you going to say, Lumb?
Oh, we've got just very quickly. It's not a regular feature. Don't worry.
Not my jokes, man. I just thought I'd find us some shit jokes off the internet.
They're not my jokes. I just thought they were worthy of repeating to the internet. It's
you laughed at some of them. I was really shocked that you actually laughed at a couple.
I laughed at one.
Anyway,
Gotham, so you recommended it to me, and you said you were slightly embarrassed almost about doing so.
Yeah, because it's not. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of any of those DC TV shows, really. I took a chance on Gotham because I'm Batman mad, and I thought maybe there was something in it for me. And there is. I'm Batman.
Batman.
And there was something in it for me. It's just good fun, comic book, pulpy entertainment, totally over the top, totally ridiculous, and cringy as fuck in some places. Like, really makes you want to turn it off and think, why am I watching this? In some places, it's oh god, one character in particular who's not in the comic books is played by Jada Pinkett Smith, playing a character called Fish Mooney, and it is the most overacted, ridiculous. She's the one on the end, yeah. I wonder if performance.
She sounds like she might be based on Uma Thurman's portrayal of Poison Ivy when you think about it.
Possibly so, yeah.
Well, actually, I think they took a lot of inspiration. I think they let her run a lot with the character themselves because you know how she got the role. She turned up at the casting.
Will Smith's missus, and she went in it.
She turned up at the casting with 2 men half naked in leathers on dog leads, and she was dressed all in leathers herself. And she just walked into the casting with these guys on all 4s, and they were like, "Oh my god, that's kind of."
Could you imagine trying that down in London at a casting?
Not for the Yorkshire, not for the Yorkshire tea advert I've just done. No, that's a bit weird.
Maybe it does work. Maybe you should.
It's taking 2 women in on dog leads because I don't think that'd go down.
But there's something, isn't there, about super movie auditions? Because I was thinking about the guy who played Aquaman, Jason Momoa. He. Oh, no, it wasn't for Arkham. It was for when he did Game of Thrones. They were looking for
chop somebody's head off.
No, he went in and he just did the New Zealand hacker.
Oh, right.
And they were like, and because they were like, what the fuck is this? This is kind of cool.
He just walked in, ripped his shirt off, took the casting director and bent him over and did what he does to Daenerys on that beach in the season 1.
You got the part.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he just went in and did the hacker. I mean,
there's something fundamentally likable about Jason Momoa because Aquaman is a shit character, but it doesn't entirely suck.
No, you're right.
When he's playing him. So that's an interesting one. Hang on,
no, it's funny. The thing about Gotham, because you're saying it's slightly better, and it's weird at times. It is one of the shows that, like, each start of each season, we would have the same conversation where Webby, because we've never actually spoken about it, I don't think, before, Lummy, together, but Webby would always be like, oh God, it's just really weird and awkward, and it's that thing that you forget. But it's the same as Karate Kid, it's the same as Cobra Kai.
It's that year in between where you forget how cheesy you were. You forget what level you were at when you left it. Yeah, and you go away and you remember it better than it is, and then you go back and it's a bit of a culture shock to step back into that world again. What I like about Gotham is it's fucking balls. It just goes for it. Just like, here's another bad guy. Here's another bad guy. Here's a bigger bad guy. And I bet you didn't think we were going to put this bad guy in, but we fucking are. And it just keeps going like that. It's relentless. And 9 times out of 10, they're really decent portrayals of these bad guys.
Absolutely. I think.
I was going to say, when it first got announced this was coming out, I was one of them people who went, What? Yeah, this without Batman? What are you on about? I don't want to see James Gordon. I'm really against it. I really was like, that was not going to work. And then when I started watching it, I really liked it. I thought it was really good.
Did you write a letter?
No, I never write letters to people about shows.
I'm going to try it.
It's just a show, isn't it?
Maybe that's how we change some of this shit that we're not satisfied.
I watched a documentary, actually, just on a quick sideline, about that very thing. The original Star Trek series got saved by the fans writing letters to Paramount. There were loads of examples of it in this I can't remember what the documentary was called, but really interesting about
things like when Quantum Leap got cancelled and people showed up to the studio and
the fans saved it.
Picketing against it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
The thing about Gotham is it was originally actually written. The original idea was that it was just a detective story. That's what it was going to be. Based on around Jim Gordon and Bullock and all those characters. And you're going to have the start story from when Bruce Wayne's mum and dad have died and his relationship with Jim Gordon. But what happened was that the fans really got into the villains, and it was the villains that kept the fans hooked. In particular, Jeremiah Velasco, who was their not Joker character, and I didn't realize until just recently actually what had happened with that situation. And what it was Warner Brothers had told Primrose Hill Films that they weren't allowed to have the Joker. There were certain characters that they were allowed to have and certain characters they weren't, and the Joker was one of them because they had their own plans for a Joker story. And so they were like, okay, so they just had this character that was loosely similar. You could see maybe it's an origin story of how the Joker came about, but it became really popular with the fans. So they just kept writing him. That's why. It was brilliant. The guy who played it, Cameron Monaghan. Yeah, Cameron Monaghan is amazing.
He's a brilliant fucking Joker. Brilliant.
One of the best portrayals of the Joker.
No. In fact, they only slipped up once apparently, and on Netflix in the subtitles they called him the Joker. The Joker speaks, just in the subtitles. But that was never. They were never given permission to do that. They did in some of their advertising. It happened towards the end as well. It was like, what's the real joke, and all the who's the real joke, and all these sorts of all these. But basically, what they did was they just got ballsy with it. The fans loved the character. Why wouldn't they? The kid smashed it out of the park when he was playing him. But what Primrose Hill Films did was they just kept adding a little bit more of the Joker, until the point where they'd made the fucking Joker, and Warner Brothers got really antsy about it, and there was some discussions with them, and Warner Brothers basically said, all right, here's some permission to use a little bit more of the Joker's sort of characteristics and storyline,
but you're not allowed to call him the Joker. And then basically what they did at the end was fuck it all up with that last episode where they had him fall into a vat full of chemicals and he came out as a fat Joker, or an amalgamation of the two characters, Jeremiah and Jerome. But that was the story behind it. That's how
I don't really mind that, to be honest. I don't think they fucked it up. I think the end was rushed, and it wasn't that. The bit with the Joker wasn't the problem. It was the fact that they needed 2 or 3 episodes to do that, because it jumps from where you are to 10 years in the future, and you start seeing Batman working in his outfit in the first year of his life, capturing the Riddler and capturing the Penguin and all that shit, and then he falls in the vat of acid and stuff. Excuse me. But what's amazing about this show, what's great about this show, is that you can pretty much point to any one of those characters on the screen, apart from Fish Mooney, and go, yeah, they knocked it out of the park. The Penguin's great. The Riddler's fucking great. Yeah. Catwoman was really good.
Yeah, you know, she was brilliant.
And you're getting to see him from there.
She is like a young Pfeiffer as well, isn't it?
Oh, God, she's amazing. Yeah. She's amazing at it. She's so good.
When you first meet Oswald Cobblepot, he's just a piece of shit little gangster who's got ambition. He's pretty terrible. His arc is great.
So can we, just before we get onto that a sec, because I was talking about that Joker thing, is for me, had they had him fall into the vat of acid at the end, and that's it. That's it. So they could have gone full balls to the wall Joker, and then when he falls in the vat of acid and Warner Brothers go, we told you not to do that, they go, but it wasn't the Joker. He's dead. He's dead. That guy who fell into the acid is dead. It's not.
I see what you're saying, but I don't know. I mean, I think kind of splitting hairs for me, because for me, the fact they never called him the Joker, there's a point where you get in the show where you start to realise he definitely is the Joker, because things that were happening at the same time in the story, the Court of Owls story appeared in the Batman comics. Yeah. As part of that, we've talked about this before, but as part of that, the Joker gets his face removed and he's walking around with a massive muscle on his face.
But the reason is that was because they had.
But they did that with Jerome. They actually
but
went
they had
there. And it was
because they had to kill him off because of the beef with Warner Brothers, and then the viewership just dropped down. So they're like, we've got to write him back in, and that's when they came up with Jeremiah. That interpretation of the same character. It's just it was just really weird.
In any other show that you're meant to believe and you're meant to go along with, it wouldn't work. But because it's already set that precedent that stupid shit happens regularly in the show as part of a comic book, you accept it, you get on with it. So what Rich is talking about is the bit where you find out that all along Jeremiah had a brother who's a genius who gets a present sent to him by Jeremiah and sprays him in the face with gas and turns him into another Joker. But he's not the Joker. He's the opposite of the Joker. He's incredible. He's sane, man. He's incredibly sane. He's just sane,
really sensitive,
sane to the point of insanity, and he's really quiet and muted and understated and quite scary, quite dark, you know. But you know, the catalogue of villains they've got in this is great, man. I mean, Nigma starts off working as a forensic psychologist, a forensic medical officer for GCPD. Yeah. And then he starts talking to himself, and all sorts of shit goes wrong. And he's slowly turning into the Riddler.
It's brilliant. That transition into that character is, and he plays it so well.
The casting's great on the most of the part in this, isn't it? You know, I mean, when we're talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, you know, with the casting in that, it really does heighten how you can make a decent TV show and have it really well.
So isn't that interesting, right? That a show like Falcon and Winter Soldier, the reason it didn't work for me is it took itself too seriously, whereas this show is so ridiculous that it works. So they could have had a better balance there with the Marvel stuff, you know.
But that is the thing though with Marvel. I mean, WandaVision was so out there, maybe that's kind of set aside. But all of the Marvel films have been funny, whereas Falcon Winter Soldier was just earnest.
There were a couple of jokes in it, but they weren't particularly good jokes, were they? There was no comic relief at all.
And they weren't them taking the piss out of themselves or each other. Like with the Avengers, is full of that. They're all ripping the piss out of each other.
Was I the only one in Falcon and Winter Soldier as well that when Peggy Carter's daughter showed up, I completely forgot who the hell she was?
I thought, who's this?
I was like, who is this? And then I remembered she's in a couple of the other Marvel movies. I couldn't remember which ones.
No,
it was a bit. Sorry, love. I forgot you.
But in terms of characterization of the villains in Gotham, I mean, for me, I loved Robin Lord Taylor's portrayal of what was effectively the Penguin. It's just absolutely brilliant. And I saw him, first time I saw him was in a couple of episodes of The Walking Dead. And he played this guy, I think it was a guy and his sister. There he is there. Yeah, exactly. A guy and his sister. And they were sort of holed up somewhere. And Rick and Carl saved them. And in fact, he came back in another episode. So while he was filming Gotham, he came back in another episode. And it was that famous one in Walking Dead where they're all bent over the troughs and about to have their throats slit. And he's the guy next to them. He's been kidnapped and he's there and he gets his throat slit in that. The guy's a brilliant actor. Absolutely brilliant.
Got some Gotham love.
Yeah. Thanks, Andrea.
Thanks for that, Andrea. Welcome to the show.
Saw bits of Gotham, couldn't get into it like some of the ideas. But
that's fair enough, though.
Yeah, you've got to put yourself. Yeah, you've got to put yourself in the right frame of mind for this one. It is very cartoony, but me and Rich had a discussion this week. We were talking about favourite Batmans because he brought up the fact that his worst was going to be Batman 66. And I said, I think that's a mistake because that
only because Lumb had taken Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
and I'd forgotten about Batman and Superman. Yeah,
and for me, you can't do that because Batman and 66 is very self-referential. It knows it's taking the piss. It's tongue-in-cheek. It's for kids. It's a cartoon. It's really bright and colourful because it was the colour TV had just become a thing in the 60s. And they were showing off, well. And also some of the performances in that are they led into what we're watching now. And you've got to apply that same logic to Gotham. So Big T, I would suggest to you, if you're going to put Gotham on and try it again, put yourself in that Batman 66 frame of mind where anything can happen and it's totally ridiculous. And I think you might find it a little bit more enjoyable. It was never touting itself as the next Citizen Kane or anything, was it? It was a joke.
No, I think they do a really good job of presenting Gotham, the actual city and the universe as well.
It's really show as well.
You know
awesome
what?
Stuff about the show as well. Sorry.
I was just going to say, what I really like about this is they don't drag stuff out too long. They've got the overall story, but when they have a villain, it's one and done, innit? Usually, unless they bring them back into another. What I mean by that is they've got a story and it ties it up, that little story within an episode, rather than go, this is a 4-parter, you'll have to watch it. You're like, hang on.
So there's the Scarecrow's in one or two, or you might get
Bane, Eduardo turned into Bane towards the end.
They're all in there, but they're in there blinking and you'll miss them sometimes. Yeah. But what's awesome about this show as well, Alfred.
Oh yeah,
Sean Pertwee in this brings a whole new angle to training Batman from the start, where he literally one day Bruce Wayne's tired of being weak and tiny and realizes he's got to step up. So he asks him to teach him, and he's teaching him from the start with just boxing. And it's just, I loved him as Alfred. There were bits in this where when he gets emotional, he actually gives you a bit of a lump in your throat, tear in your eye thing when he's getting upset. He's always looking for Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne's gone missing. He's always worried about it.
Literally, we just got that there.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Andrea. Yeah. But I mean, if you in context, this show is great. For me, I tried on the strength of this. I tried a few others of the DC universe. I tried Legends of Tomorrow, and I tried Arrow, and I tried whatever the other ones are. Couple of the others, and none of them really had that magic for me. This one got away with murder. It was just, and then bringing Arkham Asylum into it and all the experiments.
Absolutely. Yeah, the whole battles. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Rachel Ghoul, all of that stuff. It's brilliant.
Love Adam West used to say Batman was a
yeah. That's awesome. That is awesome. And the same as you, I can't get into any of the other DC series. I tried Legends of Tomorrow just because of a friend is in it, and I just didn't like it.
I watched Arrow. I watched pretty much all that.
I know Arrow is really popular. But
until it got the idea with Arrow was it were going to be like they keep going on about this island he's been on for 5 years, but then once it got past that 5-year mark, it just went. I lost the interest really, and it was.
But they have this struggle a lot. I mean,
all right.
Same with the Flash. That's got quite a few series as well. I know a few people that got into that. It just didn't.
Tried Flash, got bored. Yeah.
But
reading my mind, this lady.
I do really like the new version of the Flash from the Snyder films. I think he's brilliant, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that movie, actually, because I'm just interested. I like the character, I like the way he was played, and I've never been interested in the Flash before, and that was the first time.
I mean, if you worked for DC, surely they must be sitting there scratching their heads all the time, going, "How come we can't fucking make this work? Got all this amazing property."
Well, they've got James Gunn now. I think they will. I think this.
But they haven't. They've got James Gunn for this one movie, and he's been rehired by Marvel, so he'll be going back to Guardians of the Galaxy.
He's going back. It's making the same mistake that Disney have with Star Wars. They didn't have somebody from the get-go in charge of it all to go.
Yeah, overview of the whole product, of the whole.
You know, it happened with 7, 8, and 9. They didn't have a clue what they were doing, and you've got this massive franchise. You can't do that. You've got to, the Marvel template should be used by everybody who's dealing with big universes.
Exactly. Because there's loads of examples of Marvel TV series failing and not being that great. A load of the Netflix ones were a bit turd, to be honest.
Jessica
Jones was great the first series, but
this is a really good point here. There you go. Lost interest has started doing the linking episodes. Yeah. This is really valid, because what they did with the Flash and everything, and Arrow and Legends Tomorrow, all that, started linking it. So what happened was you lost track of what you were supposed to watch first. For me, that's when I went, I'm out. I can't be bothered, because I used to watch Flash.
That's because of Flashpoint. No, that's because of Infinite Crisis and Flashpoint, where there's all those crossover storylines that all affect each other. And if you haven't read them in the right order, it don't make any fucking sense. And then you get to when Grant Morrison starts writing it, and it don't make any sense because Grant Morrison's writing it, and you've got to be a genius to understand what the fuck he's talking about. So, yeah. But just going back to Gotham for a second, if you're a Batman fan, even the B-list bad guys, there's so many of them in it. You've got Dollmaker, you've got Scarface, you've got the ventriloquist.
Dollmaker is great. Yeah,
you've got fucking Victor Zsasz, who's in a lot of them. You've got so many.
What's the pig?
You've got Ivy as well.
Professor Pig, who was fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
and that was what I meant earlier. One episode and done.
Yeah, but really terrifying. Yeah. And then you've got all the crime families. You know, the Falcones and the guys.
Your favourite, Fish Mooney.
Oh yeah, she's terrible. Absolutely terrible. I do believe that she came out of that office with that guy on her lead, and she thought, I think that went all right. And Will Smith popped his head up from behind the couch, and he goes, "You know, you're going to give her that movie, right?" That's what he said. And Will Smith, they ain't working with you anymore if you don't.
I like what they did with Barbara Gordon as well, and all of that sort of stuff. Like just how they.
The only thing about that, I found it weird that she was called Barbara, because Jim Gordon.
It confused me for it confused me. But then didn't they then justify that at the end? By the end of it, because she saved them.
Right.
No, because she's called Barbara Kane, but she's going out with Jim Gordon.
Barbara Keane, yeah.
Keane. She's going out with Jim Gordon. So yeah, you get confused by it because you're thinking Oracle, you're thinking, when's the Joker going to come and break this girl's back and put her in a wheelchair so she'll become the Oracle? And it wasn't that same character. It was a bit weird.
Well, it'd have been his daughter, wouldn't it? So why are they together?
Yeah.
why is he with his daughter? What?
I tell you what, some people might struggle to get over. If you're expecting a beautiful, luscious mustache from you, Jim Gordon, this ain't the show for you.
No.
Fucking bare lips.
Apart from the end,
there's a little touch at the end. To make you wait for it.
I don't think you have to be a Batman fan. That's true as well.
I agree. It's just a really fun show. In fact, I am going to go back and rewatch it all again. I
do believe that. I mean, if you're a Batman fan, there is a lot in there for you because you're going to get your kicks out of seeing characters you don't always see. I mean, they never went full. Batman 66 has got the edge on them because they've got Clockmaster, whatever it's called, Clockface and Egghead. And they've got some proper dodgy bad guys in that one.
There was a Tutankhamun guy as well.
Yes, sorry.
King Tut. King Tut.
Yeah.
With a stick-on beard.
Yeah, some proper dodgy stuff in there. And I always like the fact that Cesar Romero refused to shave his mustache. So they just powdered over it.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, and the movie, Batman 66, the movie is just a classic.
Shark repellent.
Shark repellent, yeah.
Don't worry, Robin. I've got my bed.
So, if you had to pick your favourite villain from Gotham, who would from Gotham? Who would it be? I know Webb is.
I mean, casting wise, I'd have to say the Penguin. I think he did it, or Riddler. I think both of them. They nailed it. They really nailed it.
Same.
Definitely, definitely agree with you there. But for me, this show, where I was about to lose interest, I think the Joker character and that little arc and what was going on there saved it.
You mean you don't like Fish Mooney the best?
No, I don't. I was so glad when she fucked off from it.
She's there.
Yeah.
Their also original idea with the Joker was to have each series have a portrayal of someone that the audience, because they weren't allowed to use the Joker, they wanted to have a portrayal of somebody who the audience could go, is that the Joker? Which is exactly what they did with Jerome Velasco at the start. They had him, wasn't he on a stage telling a joke or something at the end of the first series?
No, it's not him. It's a different guy, apparently. I saw that little bit earlier. But I think that faking you out, so it leads you to believe that you're going to see the Joker and at some point, and then, spoiler alert, Jerome's character gets killed off, and you're like, well, how can it be then? But then they find a cheap-ass way of bringing him back, and it works, and you're just like, fine, bring me more Joker.
But no, the idea was to have somebody who was going to be similar and a different one for each season, but that character became so popular with the fans. That's why they ended up. And it was it's just really interesting. Like, they wanted him to have him in a purple suit, but he wasn't allowed to be in a purple suit because Warner Brothers weren't going to let him. He wasn't allowed to have green hair, so they gave him the red hair instead. But it was amazing how ballsy it got to the point where they had the staples all around the face, and by the end he was wearing full blown Joker grin and lipstick.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Ra's al Ghul in this. You've got the Executioner in this. You've got Talia al Ghul, who's not called Talia al Ghul. She's a different name, but it's the same character essentially. So yeah, it really does go into the League of Shadows, the Court of Owls. It goes wherever it wants, and it does it quite faithfully. I think and it's funny too. Like, it's so comically, like him and Gordon and
Bullock.
Oh yeah, forgot about him. Yeah,
they're great. Yeah. They're great together. They're great together.
So again, another one of those confusing things. It's called Harvey, isn't it?
Yeah. So you think it's going to be Harvey Dent? So for the first season, that confused the shit out of me. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, people do have the same names,
but then weirdly enough, Harvey Dent comes into it.
Yeah,
but no Two-Face. No Two-Face at all. So they brought Harvey Dent in. I wonder what they intended to do with him, because I think he just basically he just fizzles out.
Was there some news that they're going to do another series of this? I'm sure I saw something about this. I'm going to have a Google before.
If they did, I'd be well chuffed if they did.
I think basically they would have done if Bruce Wayne had aged in time with the storyline, but
do you know what? That kid was brilliant.
It was great.
Because it's not a likable character in the first couple of series, because he's a emo-y, gloomy. Quite rightly, his parents have been killed. Teenager, and is just a bit of a pain in the ass. But actually,
there's some stupid shit he does as well. Do you remember when he leaves a letter for Alfred? I'm going to live in the city with Selena Kyle. Don't ask any questions and don't come looking for me. I'll be all right. I've just got to learn how to be on the streets.
It's like his angsty teenager-y bollocks.
So delightfully cheesy. Yeah, they were great together.
Yeah, really good. I mean, she was like 15 when they were filming this. I mean, there's some proper weird sophisticated performance.
There's some weird shit in this. So when you meet Poison Ivy, she's like a street rat. And then one day, she fall down a sewer and come out the other end, and she's like this beautiful older woman. She's aged 10 years in the sewer. You're like, what? They've just decided to Poison Ivy a woman. Yeah, it's some interesting choices in there.
Yeah,
and there's some
good.
The other proper annoying person in it, not just Fish Mooney. The guy who plays Doctor Strange is properly cheesy. He's a hammy ass actor. He's a hammy ass actor, that guy.
But it works
because they've been given that brief. If you're going to be the method actor here, you're going to stand out like a sore thumb, because everybody pantomime in it. You know what I mean? It's great.
No, it's good. Lummy, is there anything else that you want to say about Gotham? Anything that you want to talk about?
I think we've covered quite a lot there, to be honest. I just having a look at the cast again. Is there anybody we've missed?
We might be able to have a slightly earlier finish to the show tonight, guys. Wow!
I'll tell you what we could end on. Robin.
Robin, we had some reviews, didn't we?
Yeah, Robin's done a review of some of his Batman Lego for us. I don't know. Just put whichever video you want on Lumb.
I'll just put them on. See what. Hang on.
Yeah, so what was your remit for your son, your 3-year-old son? What did you make him do?
I said, Uncle Lummy and Uncle Rich really need you to do tell them about your Batman Lego. We need to make a video, and he was like, yeah, all right, let's do it.
Hang on, cool. Let's try playing one, see if it works.
He was up for it.
Oh, hang on. Oh, there we go.
Hi guys, it's Robin and Nathan here.
Oh, it looks a bit annoyed with me. Like, oh, Dad.
Our Lego Batman figures. So, Robin, who have we got here? Who's that? Nightwing. Who's that? Who's
I have to help him out.
Batgirl.
What's that guy? Like you, Robin. And then we've got 4 different Batman.
Batman.
One in the grey suit, one in the two in the blacks.
Batman.
Who's this?
Joker.
And
Mr. Freeze.
what's Mr. Freeze do?
Freeze is a buddy.
With what? How does he freeze them?
With ice.
Oh, okay, with ice.
That's a simple question.
Yeah. What else have we got? Oh, this is Bronze Tiger. We don't know who he is, do we? But he's a Batman villain. Bronze Tiger. Who's that? Can you remember? Come here, I'll tell you.
Man-Bat.
He's the opposite of Batman, isn't he? And he flies, and he's got claws. Who's this one?
Riddler.
The Riddler.
Oh,
what does
that's
he do?
adorable.
Is he a bad guy or a good guy?
Careful.
Guy.
Yeah.
Does he fight or is he? What does he do? Is he a stealer?
Yeah.
A stealer.
He steals money.
He steals money and jewels and things like that. Nothing in there. You have to look that side. Huh? Hey. Right. Who's this one then? What's this lady called with the purple?
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
And
Is she?
Penguin.
Oh, Penguin as well. Yeah. Who's Harley Quinn though? Is Harley Quinn the Joker's girlfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting lots of trouble together.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite out of all of these? You've got to pick one. Who's your favourite?
Also go to Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's your favourite. Who's your favourite bad guy? Penguin, Joker, Riddler, Harley Quinn. Who's the best?
I'm going to have to press you for an answer, Robin.
Got a big hammer for smashing, so maybe it could be her. What do you think?
Batman.
Batman is not a bad guy. Is he your favourite from this side?
Yeah.
Batman. Okay. I like Batgirl. This Batgirl's really cool. Okay. Right, say bye-bye. Oh, they're all getting smashed up. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Oh.
In the background, lying down on the table, you could see Carnage. We had a little discussion. He was getting all the figures. I'm like, but Carnage is a Spider-Man villain, buddy. We can't. It doesn't really. And he's like, no, but he's got spikes. And I'm like, spikes.
Do you want the other videos? What else is on there?
Oh, I don't know. What have you got? Put the bat truck one on if you've got the one with the truck on it. Because the other one I think would a bit cack.
I'll just have to play it. Tell me if it's wrong one. Hang on.
Don't have to play all of them.
Bat truck. Oh, is it like the big? Hang on. This might be it.
Hi.
Hi.
So here, what is this, Robin?
I remember him getting
Batman's back.
This is awesome.
Truck. Yeah, and
That's
this
massive,
is
isn't it?
really awesome, guys. Robin, pull that flap down at the front there, buddy. Pull the flap down. Pull it down. Let's show them what happens. So this bat truck has got lots of hidden features. It's got a ramp there. What happens there? And there's a little lever at the back. And if you get it right, you can push the lever and... Oh, well, it doesn't quite fly out like it's supposed to.
Sorry, the camera works not great.
Pops out.
Yeah, bat jet ski.
For jet skiing around the water. So also the front of the truck open so you can put Batman inside the cab. This is cool. This bit on the back here is a spaceship. Comes off. Look at that. What does a spaceship do, buddy? Does it do anything?
That opens.
It opens up like that. It's got wings, hasn't it?
And a little thing pops out.
Oh yeah, if you flip it around, guys, can you see that? 1 second. Hidden feature alert in the back there. What's that? What's that? Let's
Sort of
pull it
just
out,
awful
see.
camera work.
It's only a back quad bike. You know what I'm saying? Back quad. Hello. Comes out the back of the back pod, I think. The back spaceship, which clips onto the back.
It's a bat
Let's take that off a
spaceship.
second.
Wow.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
and
got
then
everything.
if you come to the back of the truck, Robin, do you remember this bit? If you open it up.
You've got a lovely table,
like
Nathan.
that.
Thanks, man.
Flips open. Shoosh. You got a back computer in there. You got a little swivelly back chair, all swivels round with a lever at the back.
Ah,
So you can
cool.
face the computer screen.
It's got a
Some
bat cell.
dynamite and some bat tools on the wall, but also it's got its own little prison. You can put a bad guy
I
in
don't know
there.
where Robin is at this point. He's abandoned me.
Also, there's another thing. If you put a bad guy in there, turn the truck around,
I think this is where it all went wrong.
it's got a false wall as well. So the bad guy can hit this lever.
Yeah, that
The wall
lever.
comes out.
Sorry, man. I'm trying to use. We're trying
Oh,
to.
look at that.
Yeah, there
So
you
he
go.
can escape from the back truck, can't he?
Yeah.
What do you think of this one? Do you like this one?
Yeah.
And one more feature. Check this out, guys. Pull down a panel at the back. What we got here, Robin? A Batman motorbike. Can you hold it up and show the camera? Show the camera. A bit too fast. Slow down.
Yeah, it's
Let me
brilliant.
see. Bat bike.
That's
Check
good.
it
That's
out.
cool. Wow.
Yeah, it's a
Awesome.
really cool little toy, this one.
Awesome.
It is awesome.
Ah, thanks, Robin. That's awesome.
There you
I
go.
think we should have all of our toys reviewed by Robin.
Yeah,
from
man.
now on. That's a good idea. Awesome. Well, I've really enjoyed having a batastic week this week with you, gents. Have you got any other comments, Lummy?
No, that's it. Awesome toy review from Big Timor.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll get some more for his birthday. We'll see what he gets. His birthday in a couple of weeks.
Oh, when is his birthday? I
Oh,
can't.
not 9th of June.
Okay, cool. I've got a while, yeah. So, are we going to be able to meet up this week? I'm going to be in Leeds this week. Lummy, are you able to get over, or are you careless?
I'm gallus.
Careless. So we're not going to be able to do our geek get together this week, but we might have a little May the 4th special potentially. Watch your space. We'll have a chat about it. There might be
Depends
a little.
what news comes out, really. If
Yeah.
there's any piece of news, then we will report it for you guys.
Exactly.
Might be next Saturday. It might be this week.
Well, no, we'll definitely be here
Again.
next Saturday, but there might be a little special thing going out on May the 4th. I don't know. See what happens, as it is Star Wars Day. Lummy, have you got anything going on this week? What's happening with the radio show?
Yeah.
This week.
Radio show on radio show Tuesday on Box Office Radio. What's the score? Where I'll play some score music for you, obviously. But Monday we're doing prequel, sequel, requel, and we're actually doing something that's coincidentally to do with this show tonight because we're doing Joker.
Nice. Okay, cool.
So
Right.
that's 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Monday. We're doing Joker prequel, sequel, requel. So
I bet you're relieved you don't have to do the stories for that one. Just got to leave it to guests, haven't you? That's a toughie, that one. That's a
That's
toughie.
going to be a toughie.
It is a toughie, yeah. But
Who's your guest on the show this week?
Dave Hughes from Mooch TV on YouTube is
Nice.
a friend of ours. He's going to come on. Then I believe the week after, Webb, are you still doing it? Because you said
Yeah, man, I'll do it. I'm doing
so
it.
the week
yeah.
after, Webb is coming on, and he's doing the Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Right choice,
Awesome.
yeah, man.
Well,
Yeah, I just thought
that is my first night in my new. I move house that day, so I will tune in and watch you guys do that. I love
And
the
you
Big
can
Lebowski.
come and do one as well, Rich. After that, if you want to.
I would love to once we get settled in and things like that.
Talk about timing. We've
Hi, Beth. How you doing?
I love
coming
that
for ends.
photo, that cute little,
Yeah, that is a
little
cute
bugger
photo.
Jacob.
Webby, have you got anything going on this week, or is there anything you want to share, or any pearls of wisdom that you have for our community before we depart?
Pearls of wisdom. Don't eat yellow snow.
That is a really, really important fact. That's important. That's a public service announcement right there.
And touching yourself is fun. We all know that, but too much of a good thing. Do you know what I mean? Rein it in, guys. Come on. You can't be playing with yourself all the time. You've got stuff to do.
You can play with yourself all the time.
Go clean your house. Hoover the carpet or something.
I mean, yeah.
I'm working. I'm working this week, back at work, and got an extra day off. It's Bank Holiday Monday.
Oh
yeah. Well, it's a day off. You've got me coming up to visit. So
it's a day on, more like.
It's a day on. It's a day on it. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the show this week. Thank you so much for all of your comments. Feel free to go to It's All Our Pleasure. See you next week. Feel free to go over to our YouTube channel, It's All Geek to Me, or this live stream on YouTube is on channel Lumb. Go and give Lummy a subscribe and a like, and then go over to It's All Geek to Me. Give us a like and subscribe there. Go to our Twitter page. Give us a follow at It's All Geek Twit, and we're also on that there Facebook. But for this week, from me, from Webby, and from Lummy, and from Dexter. That's been It's All Geek to Me. We're going to see you all next week. Goodbye.
And have a good Star Wars day, everybody. There you go.
Yeah, may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you,
punks.